Welcome back to Between Bells. European Wax Center is debuting on the Nasdaq today under the ticker symbol EWCZ. It has raised $180 million from investors and opened at $19 a share. The company is aiming to revolutionize waxing services by providing users with a high-quality experience. Joining us now to discuss is European Wax Center CEO David Berg himself. David, welcome to the show. You got to ring the Nasdaq opening bell today. Always very exciting. Why is the right time to go public now?
Well, Megan, we were the leader. We've been the leader in the wax industry since 2004, when really we professionalized the out-of-home waxing experience. We've made the right investments from a human capital standpoint, infrastructure standpoint, that the logical next step was for us to become a public company. And if you think about what our core is in our centers, it is to instill unapologetic confidence for our guests. So this step in becoming a public company listed on Nasdaq is another step in terms of confidence. Confidence for our associates to make sure that we can attract and retain the best and brightest. Confidence for our franchisees as they come into our system and continue to deliver that amazing service every day. And confidence for our guests to make sure that they're coming to the leader in the industry.
I learned the European Wax Center is the largest out-of-home waxing service here in the U.S. This is a growing market, as you well know, David. So how will this IPO impact the company's growth and, of course, keep up with all those competitors out there?
Yeah, so we're really focused. We've got two growth vectors. One is how do we continue to thoughtfully grow our unit count, open more new centers. And the great news is that's done with 80% of that growth coming from our current franchisee base. They believe in this system, they love this brand, and they continue to grow with us. And the second is how do we just continue to deliver those amazing services so it drives same-store sale comps. So things that we've been doing every single day, keeping focused and driving our results.
I want to talk about those franchisees because out of the 808 locations, I learned 99% are owned and operated by franchisees. Any plans to add locations or add more franchisees to the company?
Yeah, so the great news is we see a path to over 3,000 centers in the United States. And as I said, most of that growth is coming from our franchisees who want to reinvest in our system. So we'll continue our thoughtful growth. We have 260 franchisees across our 800 plus centers. We do own 5 centers. We think it's important that we experiment, we ideate in the centers that we own so that we can then have that conversation with our franchisees as we roll out new services, that we've put our money where our mouth is and tried and tested some things.
How does this shift in consumer spending habits impact business, especially as we approach colder months?
Yeah, so there's very, very little seasonality in our business. The one great thing about European Wax Center, it's part of the non-discretionary recurring beauty regimen for our guests. So this isn't a one and done or I just did it for bikini season. Our guests come in multiple times a month, multiple times a year, and that gives our franchisees great confidence in terms of that recurring revenue model, and also just becomes part of that regular beauty and skincare regimen for our guests.
How does something like the coronavirus and the Delta variant impact business, given the physical nature and work of these wax centers, David?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And hygiene has always been at the top of our priority list, even going back all the way from our beginning with our founders. We took the opportunity during COVID to really relook at all of our hygiene standards to ensure that we continue to be at top of industry. We had something we called Operation Scrub. We brought a third-party safety expert in to make sure that walking literally from the front of the door to the back of the house, every single touch point for the guest and our associates was as safe as possible. And that's something that gives our guests confidence as they come in and continue on their personal care regimen.
I'm curious, have you seen a shift in consumer spending since the pandemic?
You know, I think there was naturally that pent-up demand. We hadn't been able to get our haircuts, our nails done, our wax, so we certainly saw that as centers reopened back late spring of 2020. But it's been great. The constant recurring revenue and the recurring visits by our guests has been very consistent, and they're spending just like they were pre-COVID.
Can you tell us a little bit about the user experience when they go into one of these locations?
Sure. I would absolutely encourage everybody to go on our website to see what to expect when you come in for that first wax. We drive our new guests into our centers with a first wax free. So any center you want to come to, any service that you want, we invite you into European Wax Center. We'll make sure we educate you on what to expect when you wax so that you can come back for that second and third time and become a regular returning guest for us on a regular basis.
So EWC is estimating the total addressable market in the U.S. is $18 billion with a long-term trajectory of growth. Can you give us a price point of your services?
Yeah, so our services really vary from about $10 for brows to about $80 for our most expensive service. We're kind of right in that middle if you think about a $50-ish average ticket per visit.
Okay, European Wax Center CEO David Berg, congratulations today. Again, very exciting to ring the bell. We appreciate your time. We hope you come back.